What's up, everyone? I'm Virginie from Better Music, and this is my podcast, Better Minds. On this podcast, we will have conversations about life, health, struggles, and music. I hope this place will make you feel loved and safe, and I really hope this place will make you feel like you can fully be yourself. Thank you so much for listening. Welcome to this brand new episode. As always, thank you so much for being here. I love this podcast so much, and I love talking to you guys and getting to know your stories and honesty. I learned so much from you. As I said before, this podcast is a form of therapy for me. Hearing your stories really made me realize that we are not alone. We go through similar feelings and emotions, and sometimes we even go through the same struggles. I hope you will enjoy this new conversation with Who is Jordan. Thank you so much for being here. So how are
Yeah.
you? How's your mental health today?
I'm good. I was away. I was out of town yesterday, so I just got back. I'm just like waking up and try to get back into everything. But yeah, I don't know. Just been thinking about a lot of stuff, thinking about the world, thinking about personal life things. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I haven't thought about that in a second. I don't fully know where I'm at like today. Um, yeah, how about yours? How's yours?
Mine has been challenging.
Really? Yeah.
Just so much going on and so much anxiety about life, struggles, and I guess progress.
Yeah. Like
So,
progress with your like career, just progress like with growth and things like
yeah,
that.
honestly, everything in my life, I'm just
Yeah.
progressing on every level, but it's been very hard for me mentally and emotionally because
Yeah.
I have a lot of emotions. So, it's hard to stay grounded.
Yeah. 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 Staying grounded is definitely like I don't know. It's something that it's so easy to get like lost in everything. Um, I've honestly this year I've been going outside and skating. And that's been something that's like really helped me kind of like calm down and kind of come back into myself if I'm like overwhelmed or stressed out with whether it's like, work, because I also work like a 9 to 5 on top of this. So
Mm,
whether it's work or whether I'm trying to figure out something musically, I'll just take like a couple hours, just go to the park and then just skate around, listen to music. And that will like reset me
I love
mentally,
that. Yeah.
which is really nice. I feel like it's important to go outside and like connect to nature, just kind of like just kind of recharge yourself in that way.
Yeah. I used
Yeah.
to skate during COVID.
Oh, really? Like, what were you? Were you like roller skating or were you just skateboarding?
Skateboarding. I was just skateboarding around the neighborhood. Because, no, I wanted to try and learn during COVID, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everybody was outside during that time. I was working still, which was crazy, but a lot of my friends and people, everybody else was like outside and traveling and trying to like, I don't know, just keep themselves busy because that was an insane time. How
It,
was that? How was that time there? Because you're in France, right?
yeah.
Yeah, how was it in France?
Interesting. It was very quiet. I'm from a small town, so it's
Okay.
always kind of quiet, but it
Yeah.
was even worse. When it first started, I was really staying at home because it
Mhm.
was so scary. So we didn't know what was going on at
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
It was insane. So honestly, I stayed home and I kind of liked it because I don't like people.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I feel that.
It
You're
was
just
a
an
it was a
expert.
good reason to stay home.
For sure. For
I
sure.
didn't have to say no to something, so it was a good reason. But sometimes my friend would be like, "Oh, I'm coming over." I was like, "No, you can't."
Sorry, COVID. Sorry.
But yeah, it was very quiet
Yeah.
and scary. And then I think it just got worse after COVID. I think people got so much worse for some
Yeah,
reason.
for for
I don't know
sure.
about the US, but it's getting worse.
Just like how people are interacting with each other, this type thing, or
Just disrespect now.
yeah,
Just
I
yeah, people don't give a fuck anymore,
yeah,
but not in a good way.
yeah, yeah. No, I think COVID, I mean, aside from like people losing their lives, which is terrible, but I think it also kind of like there was so much other stuff going on, and I think it like desensitized a lot of people because there was years where like you just couldn't really have any human interaction, and yeah, I think kind of just coming back to everything. I think equally everybody's was like happy to see each other and happy to be together, but at the same time, I think there's also people that like really thrived during that time and like kind of got desensitized to the world because that was like a very, especially in the States, like there was like social justice protests here
Yeah,
and
remember that.
there was so much stuff going on. I was protested here too. So it was just a very like intense time in general. So I feel like because it was so intense, um it's almost just like it was overwhelming and kind of like desensitized people a little bit. But I don't know. Those are just kind of my thoughts on it. But it's an interesting thing that I feel like we won't fully understand like the ramifications of until like years from now we're I'm talking to my kids or my grandkids and I'm like, hey, like this is what happened and then this is why all this stuff is the way it is. But yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy here.
Yeah, can't believe it was 4 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. It's wild, right?
Yeah,
Long as
insane.
half a decade ago. Yeah, it's crazy.
Can't wait for the zombie attacks now.
Yeah. Feel like you're ready for the zombie attacks.
I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, if that happens, my wife she always tells me she's like, if we get to zombies, she's like, just take me out. She's like, I'm not trying. She's like, I'm not trying to deal with this. She said, please just take me out. I don't want to be here for that.
Honestly, if they're slow, I would be fine with that. But if they're super fast, just like in some movies,
Yeah, I'm
I...
cool. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Let me get on a boat or something.
But
Uh,
yeah. So
yeah.
when did you start making music?
Yeah, I actually truly started when I was a kid. So my dad, he plays bass and he plays drums. So when I was like before I could walk, he would like give me drumsticks and like put me in front of a basketball. I would just be beating on the basketball. So ever since I was like a very like one or two or something like that, like a child, um,
Wow.
I've been playing music, and then like producing and writing and rapping and stuff that came kind of like my late like teen years into like my early like 20s is when I really started doing that. So it's been a long journey. I was in a band before this too. Just a long journey of like trying to figure out where my place is musically. But yeah, really my whole life it's just like a mode of existing. It's not even like a something I'm trying to do. It's just what I do. That's just kind of like all I know in a lot of ways. So yeah,
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Music is your life.
yep, yep, yeah. Always has been different songs and albums, like everybody, but different songs and albums remind me of different times and what I was doing musically. Also reminds me of different parts of my life. Reminds me of high school, early adulthood, and what I was into and all that. So. Like I said, I'd be doing it regardless of whatever circumstance to whatever level. I'm gonna be doing music for the rest of my life. It's just in me.
Mm, thank God for music.
Yeah, thank God for music. Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
remember the first person who ever believed in you professionally?
Professionally, that's a good question. I mean, honestly, I would say my parents, like just somebody that in like a professional world that believed in me, or somebody that could see this going professionally?
You know what? Both.
Both? Okay. So yeah, my parents like is probably the first people that believed in me, that I could really do this. Yeah, my parents, as far as telling us as kids, we could do whatever. I have two sisters, so like we could do whatever we put our minds to, and whatever we've tried to do, whatever we've been into, they've always supported it. So yeah, definitely my parents early on. I remember a conversation I had with my mom actually, um, after I graduated high school, and I was kind of talking to her. That took like a year off of school, and I was trying to figure out like what I wanted to do, and if I was going to go to college, if I wasn't going to pursue music. There was just a bunch of different stuff that I was thinking about, and what like field I was going to get in. There's just a lot of things, but I kind of hit a point where I was like, man, I think I could like really do this and like make something like out of this, and she was like, "Yeah, I fully support you, but just know it's just gonna be hard. And you just really got to work at it. But I'm always here for you, and I support you, and I'm proud of you." And that was the conversation. We were outside like a community college that I think I like went to check out or something like that. So I remember that conversation, which was cool. And yeah, my dad's always been supportive of the music, which has been awesome. Um, Professionally, I feel like I've had different um like moments at different times of different people, in the industry hearing my stuff, or different people over social media like commenting or something. But I think the first person really is probably Ronald Green. He was a music director at my church, and he also went and played around professionally as a musician as well, just at like different churches and stuff like that. So professional musician. But yeah, he pushed me a lot on drums, and really believed that I could do this as a career for sure. And somebody that has been paid, is somebody that has played with people and traveled and stuff. He was really, I think, the first person in my life at a young age. I was probably like 17 or 18.
Mm.
He really saw a lot of potential in me. I think even past drums too. I think just as a musician, he saw a lot of potential in me. So yeah, those are the first people that come to my mind. And the people that I think were probably the most impactful looking back, of my trajectory, and all of this. So yeah.
Amazing. So,
Yeah.
what are some of the biggest challenges you faced in your career and how have you overcome them?
Yeah. Um, yeah, there's so many that you said that to me just now. There's like a billion that came to my mind. Yeah, I'll talk about a few of them. The first of many, it's just mental hurdles, and it really is just believing in yourself. And I think that's way easier to do when you're making the art and when you're listening to it, but when you really put weight and you put stakes and you put um uh active faith behind it, and you really take a chance on yourself, that is one of the hardest things just to step into and do, because it's equally like, okay, if this goes well, I put faith in myself, and I'm glad I did. But if it doesn't go well, I did it. Like it's because of me. Um, I feel like, yeah, just trusting in yourself and knowing you know, where to uh kind of go with your art, and what the next steps are, because there's not really like a manual or a handbook to doing this, and everybody's success, um not even in music, just in the art world. I think everybody's success looks different. There's some people that come in and just want a lot of money, and then there's other people that want to make an impact, and there's people that want to do both. So yeah, I think just trusting in yourself and continuing to push yourself to do it. At least not to make the art, but just to continue to push yourself to try to progress and try to progress your career, and um keep on telling yourself, I'm not crazy. I know I can do this. I'm not crazy. I know I can do this.
Mm,
Um, yeah, it's one of the many things. Also just being real, money. Like it's
yeah.
hard. It's super hard. You know, you have two jobs and one is something that you enjoy infinitely and it doesn't pay you. And one, you know, if you're lucky, maybe you enjoy the other one or maybe you don't. But regardless, you need the other one to live and to pay your bills and to support yourself. And if you have a family, support your family too. And then you also have to find time to do the other thing and to try to progress that as well. So I think that's like the ultimate artist struggle. I think that is the number one. I feel like for all of us is just trying to find that balance and also at the same time try to uh make sure we're good mentally and take that time to skate and take that time to rest and to figure out um where you're at emotionally and mentally through creating and through try to be vulnerable and through trying to push yourself and trying to believe in yourself and through trying to get up every day, go to your job and trying to do something that's interesting and trying to also ignore the people that don't believe in you or ignore people that don't get it all the way. And it's just it's so much opposition, and it feels really good when things go well, even if it's just one person that you don't know that comments on your post or that saves your music in a different country. It's like, oh, thank you. Like, this is happening. This is like real. This isn't something I'm trying to like fabricate. I actually know I can do this. So yeah, those are some of my top ones. Also, too, I'm married. So just trying to make sure I'm balancing being a husband and being an artist and also, working a full-time job and also being a brother and a son and all the different roles of your life. And the funny thing about being an artist too is like you have to be aware of where you're at emotionally to make the art. So you're trying to balance your relationships with everybody else and try to keep yourself in a healthy spot so you're able to continue to make the art and so you're able to understand where you're at and how you're feeling about certain things because that's the power in it. And it's like a life imitates art and vice versa type thing. But yeah, those are just a few of the struggles, the first things that came to my mind. Not the only, but a few.
That is so overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Feel like we need to have a very strong mental health when you
Hmm.
want to work in the music industry.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's all a mental game, and like I said before, I really feel like it's all like how much do you believe in yourself? And I think the more that I'm like in different situations and uh I try to like mentally boil it down, it really does just go to like how much do I believe in this and how much am I willing to put behind this? And I think it is a you get out what you put in, but it takes a second to just get it out. It's gonna take a while before you get anything out, you know. So
Yeah.
it's just, when you for real cannot see, man, I did all this work. And like, I know I told you working on the album, finished the album, so I've done a lot of work on it, and I'm like, man, I really believe in this.
Oh,
And
that's a great
yeah,
album.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Um,
I didn't
but
skip any song.
I appreciate it. That makes me so happy. Um, but I really believe in it, and it's getting real, and it's just like this is with everything in art. You make something and it's your baby for so long, and you have to just give it out. And then once you put it out, it's like your hands are off, and it's like whatever happens past this is out of my control, and they could X, Y, and Z, and they could do something else, but you just have to like give it out. And I think the act of uh standing in front of it and exposing yourself in a way that's like this is what I believe and this is how I think and feel, and I really created this thing, and just to give it to people to hey judge it
Hmm.
it's like crazy. I think
I
it's
know.
crazy, you know. But we also I love it though. Like we this is what we do. We're supposed to share. That's what we do. Like we're your platform right now, what we're talking about, we're just talking and sharing, and that's what artists are supposed to do, and that's what helps people. But at the same time, yeah, it's like going up to a random stranger, just be like, hey, this is how I feel about everything in the world, and this is my trauma, and this is what I'm trying to work past, and this is how I feel on good days and how I feel on bad days. And the stranger is like, okay, and they can just judge you from that. So yeah,
Very
yeah,
scary.
it's intense. It's always intense.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
music industry can be super tough on mental
Yeah.
health. So what strategies do you use to cope every day?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm learning that I think right now, in real time, and try to figure out how I want to move. I'm still, as an artist in the industry, I'm still very, very like new, and I'm having a lot of experiences and conversations with people for the first time. In me and Malcolm, this my was my guy and like my producer and engineer and everything. He's like we're like 1A 1B for Who is Jordan. Um, we just traveled and we had a meeting set up, and we just kind of got ghosted, and trying to figure out how to pivot and also trying to stay positive and things like that. I'm it just in real time. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out for myself. I think telling myself everything happens for a reason and trying to stay positive and but at the same time, understanding where you should put your time and kind of just trial and error things and um try to have the mindset too of there's a lot of no's before a yes, and there's a lot of failures before successes, and honestly successes are just a result of a lot of failures, and you try
Mm,
to keep those things mentally in my mind as we're going through these different moments. And I think too, I know I do this for myself. As creatives, I feel like we hold on really strongly to a lot of negative opinions and negative experiences. Like I know for me, I could have five people. Like for instance, I play a show and I have 5 to 10 people come up after. Oh my god, I love your set. Cool. If there's one person that was like, hey, yeah, that was cool. I really like this song. The other ones are interesting. And that's all they said. I'm gonna go home thinking about that one person, and almost the 10 other people are just immediately out of my mind. I'm now focused on what was that person talking about? Why did they say it was interesting?
yeah.
What was weird about it? Oh, I should have done this differently. And I feel like that kind of applies to um moving in the industry, which again is something that's very new for me. I'm just kind of this year, last year ish, this year, actually doing stuff and moving around in the bigger music industry. Um, just understanding that, like, hey, like, not everything goes exactly how you think it's planned, and there's a lot of stuff that you think went one way, but later you find out it was a blessing in disguise, and other things that you kind of just have to go through or just learn from, and just I know for me what makes it easy to kind of conceptualize in my head is just trying to keep as well like just a student mentality. Like I'm a student of this, when I fail, I learn from it. And when I'm in a situation I don't want to be in, I learn from it. When I meet somebody I like, I learn from it. When I meet somebody like I don't like, or that I'm not connecting with, or that something feels off, I'm trying to learn from it too. So I think just always being agile is what me and Malcolm call it, agile and nimble and flexible, and also just trying to just learn from everything all the time. And two, again, it just goes back to the what I was saying before. How much do you believe in yourself at the end of the day? Like, how much are you willing to trust in yourself? And if you believe you are who you say you are, um, then you almost have to like show yourself and give yourself that grace and that energy and almost like really be your biggest fan, in a lot of ways. I know we're like the hardest on ourselves. I'm the hardest on myself, but if other people and everybody else around me and my family and friends and people that don't know me and you and other people believe in me, then yeah, I can give myself that same energy and that same respect and belief as well. So yeah, those are kind of just my thoughts on it. I don't know if I have like one or a few, I don't know if I have actual like coping mechanisms because again, like I said, it's pretty new for me. But those are just kind of I know the thoughts that circle in my head as I've been going through stuff like these last couple years. So yeah,
Mm. And
yeah,
can you share a difficult experience you've had in the music industry and
yeah,
how you managed to get through it?
yeah. I know as a newer artist, one of the most like difficult things, um, something that I'm learning in real time is when you're started out and you're a newer, younger, not young as age, but just as an artist, you're a younger artist, and you kind of have in your head of like, this is how it's gonna go. I'm gonna do the X amount of albums, and on this album or this song, this is gonna go crazy, and then I'm gonna get in touch with these people, and if these people work with these big people, then I'm gone. Like that's it, and I'm out of
Mm.
here. Um, and I think slowly you kind of like start to almost understand, hey, it's everybody's path in this is extremely different. Even though there's a lot of similarities, there's still certain aspects and things that don't happen how you think it's supposed to. So, you get it like me, I feel like 3 years ago, I got in touch with somebody that worked with some like bigger people. Actually, I think almost like 4 years ago, that was working with some bigger people, and you think, oh, I know what I'm doing, and you have this, you see your potential, and you're really excited off of your potential when you're newer. So this person hears stuff, and this person is moving and shaking in the industry. And then you send them your music, and then they just don't respond. Something like that. And it's not funny. It hurts. It hurts a lot. It's just
Yeah,
like it's part of it. And then, through that you go through again, the question, how much do you believe in yourself? Is that it? Because that person didn't listen, you're done, or are you just gonna keep on trying to go? And then again, in my story, keep on going, and then you go through stuff like COVID where you don't even know. Hopefully nobody else goes through that. This isn't like a every 5 year thing, but um, the music industry was in a weird place, and putting out music was in a weird place, and you get out of that, and then you start to put stuff out, and then you're trying to improve. Um, and then I met a couple more people. I met some managers like 3 years ago or 2 years ago that were becoming A&Rs, kind of my first like touch in the industry that had worked with some people and worked with some labels that I respected. And I'm thinking this is gonna X, Y, and Z, this is gonna happen. And hey, I was kind of told like, hey, you need to have like 500,000 like monthly listeners on Spotify before we could do anything. And I'm sitting here at like maybe 500, maybe 50. How do I do that? And then
yeah,
again, it just goes back to how much do you believe in yourself? How much are you willing to be your biggest fan? And then, from that, uh I started I knew some people like um Quality Control, their Yachty's label, and some other people wound up hearing some of my music and saw a couple of my music videos. And Cole Bennett from Lyrical Lemonade saw a reel that I posted. Certain things start happening like that, and nothing came of it. But when you get the news and when you hear it, you're like, "Oh, this is awesome! I'm good. I'm out of here. This is gonna happen." And then just nothing happens. Then you realize, like, oh, people aren't just trying to like pull you up. You kind of just have to build something for yourself. Um, and then yeah, the most recent one is just again, I was just traveling yesterday. I was in LA with Malcolm, and we had a meeting, and we traveled out there, and we had other meetings and other stuff too that went really well. So I don't want to act like nothing goes well because there's some stuff that was amazing, but we traveled out there, and we're here, and we did a lot of work for it. We had spreadsheets, and we're excited, and we're ready to go, and then we just don't hear anything back, and we're across the US. That's hard, that's really
Yeah.
hard. That's hard to, again, are we gonna, how much do we believe in ourselves, and then also try to believe in yourself not at the expense of your emotions, and try to make sure, okay, if I'm sad about this, let me still go through it. If I feel frustrated, let me like express the emotion, but I also have to keep moving, and I have to continue to believe in myself because I know what's happening and I understand what we're doing. So yeah, just a lot of what it feels like very close. We're almost there moments. And I realize I think those are always gonna happen. I don't think it stops. I think that's just the nature um of trying to convince people of something that's so subjective, which is music. And I think that's the nature of developing. And I think in a way, as much as it sucks, it does strengthen you and kind of help you take criticism and take disappointment. And I know for me too, I guess get it a little deeper. Um, Disappointment is something I've struggled with like my whole life. It's something that I've really had a hard time expecting and hoping for stuff. So for me, I don't put myself in a lot of positions where I could be disappointed. Um, and yeah, I mean, growing up, that's like affected relationships. That's affected like even self-esteem, and has affected a lot. And that's something that I'm trying to work through, continue to work through right now. So for me, being in these positions where you hope and there's really no reason you shouldn't expect, and you're disappointed. It's hard and frustrated for me because I'm like, oh, I made myself vulnerable.
Mm.
Um, and because I opened myself up and I made myself vulnerable, it almost like I kind of gave you all the power, and I extended myself, and then the fact that um yeah, it just wasn't met with that same energy. It could be like really hard and frustrating. Um, but again, like I said, it also teaches you good coping mechanisms and how to stay positive and how to like continue to look forward. And also too, you just get used to that feeling. And the more that you get used to it, the more that you understand it and feel it, it's almost like you're looking at it. If you haven't felt it or understood it before, it's almost like a shadow, something you can't see how big it is or what the dimensions are, how scary it looks. And the more that you uh are familiar with the feeling, it's almost easier to be like, oh, I know what this is. I can put this over here. I can feel it, but I can put this over here and I can continue to go. Or just go through it. I could just walk. I know I'm just gonna walk around it and keep on going. So yeah, I know for me, like recently, those are like uh the hardest um challenges, especially when you have a lot of support and you have a lot of people that are looking at you and are excited for you, and family and friends that have invested a lot in you. You want past yourself, you want something to happen just so you can be like, hey, like, man, I'm excited. Hey, I'm ready to, man, we could do it now. This is what's gonna happen. And you want like just good news for everybody that has believed in you and have like extended themselves for you as well. And when you just continue to try to swing at it and you feel like you know how to swing it, you're gonna hit the ball and then you miss, and then you have to kind of be honest and be like, yeah, like this is what happened. Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard, it's really hard. So yeah,
Yeah.
those are my experiences.
I think we put so much expectations
Yeah,
in ourselves. I always have big expectations. Well, I used to, but I have been learning to not do that anymore. I always expect the worst, so I
yeah,
can easily move on. So if
yeah,
I ask you, do you want to be a part of this podcast? In my mind, I'll be like, he's going to say no.
yeah,
So that's easier for me to think like that. And also in life in general, because people would always disappoint you.
yeah.
And yeah, it's
I
hard.
Yeah, it is hard, and I feel like that. I used to think a lot like that, but I feel like at least for me, what that was doing for me, it was limiting the possibilities. Because just as much as I've had disappointments where everything was lined up, I've also had incredible. There is no way this should be happening. Things that have just happened for me in music that have pushed me into a whole different place of things that just shouldn't have happened. Like there's texts that I've sent out in Instagram DMs that I sent out that I'm like, there's no way this is going to be responded to. It's got responded to. There's like stuff on the other end. So I know I'm trying to find the balance between, how much am I expecting, um, but also still wanting to like shoot high on everything and shoot for the stars and have that like let me at least try. So I feel like with that I've kind of come to this like almost like expect what's real, but like hope for something extraordinary.
Mm,
Like my expectation is like I think this is what's gonna happen, but my hope is like way past that because I want to keep that still. Like I don't want to lose that because there's again, like I said, there's so much stuff that's happened just because I hoped that that it could, and because I knew where my hope was at, I just tried it still, and I almost took that feeling because the disappointment is just a feeling. It doesn't. It's not a truth about myself. It's not a truth about my art. It's just a feeling of something that I really wanted to happen that didn't because I care so much about what I'm doing and I believe so much in it. It does hurt, but it's also just a feeling. And if I don't do it versus I do it, I still have the same. If I don't do it and nothing happens, nothing happens. And if
yep.
I do it and I'm disappointed, nothing happens. And I get to know I'm at the same spot. So I'd rather just try it and be disappointed. And then again, continue to hope for the best because that hope is the thing that's going to drive me to put myself in a position to be disappointed. Um, but again, that's something I'm still trying to figure out what that looks like. But I think that expect reality and hope for extraordinary is like the thing that I've been trying to hold and like keep alive still. I don't want that to die.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Just have to
Yeah.
keep trying and keep going no matter what, no matter what
Yeah.
answer we get.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
With
how would you define success?
how would I define success? I know for me, success in music, really success in general. Um, I think we're all here for a reason. And I think the reason is your why and how you get it across is your what. So like for me, my why is just connected with people. Like I love talking to people. I love meeting people. I just will go to the grocery store and somebody will just start talking to me and I have no idea who they are and they'll be like, "Hey man, like my car just got towed last week and this is my whole life." And then I'm just immediately in a whole conversation while I'm trying to get like some like protein bars or just something random. I'm in a whole conversation with somebody, or even at shows and somebody, just start talking to people and that's how I've met a good amount of my friends and that's how I've met people. And I know that's what I'm here to do is just to connect with people and share. And my what is music, I think I could do that being a counselor. I think I could do that being a teacher. I think I could do that being like a spokesperson or something or whatever, a liaison. I think there's so many different jobs I could have where I could connect with people and do the exact same thing. But I know for me, my what right now is the music. And I want to connect with people through that because that is also where my heart's at. That's my desire. So I think success for me just looks like connected with people, honestly. And I think that's what I'm here to do. How many people can I impact? And I don't think that means like impact uh in a positive way. Like how many people buy my albums and how many people listen. I'm impacting people. Just really if I get a million streams on a song or if I talk to the homies that's car was towed at the grocery store, I think those are like equally impactful. So because I'm here for that, like how do I like live that out? Um, I feel like that's like where my success is at. It's just connecting and just being honest with people, or just talking, and just being somebody because people feel comfortable with me. And I think that's a gift. And I think that's just something I want to continue to do. Um, in music, yeah, I think financial success. Um, ultimately, like I said, success before that is my success. But if you know, I know there's also a financial element too. Especially like in the States here. I just want to do it more. However, I could do music more, whether that's like full time, for years, or whether that, you know, ebbs in and out of full time, or whether that's you know, where it's at right now in my life for the rest of my life. I just want a more opportunity to do it more. And I think being able to continue to do it for the rest of my life and connect with people. Um, and then, you know, whenever it's my time and I go and I leave just a lot of art behind to connect with people. I think that is a successful career and it's successful life. So yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Thanks. What does that look
It-
like for you? I'm curious. Not
oh
to put
my
you on the
God.
spot. Sorry, not to put you on the spot. I'm just curious. I'm just curious.
What does success mean to me?
Hmm?
Happiness, I would say.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, happiness
Yeah.
and finding a good balance with my mental health, I would say.
Yeah.
And just keep helping myself and helping people along the way.
Yeah.
This is what I've always done, and I want to keep doing that because it
Yeah.
makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yep, I think
No,
that's it.
that's great. That's great. That's something too, like recently I was talking to my wife about it and um she was like, yeah, like you could just do that. Like I like to play video games sometimes. I like to skate. I like to just sleep and just do other things that aren't music. And she's like, it makes you happy. Like you could do it. It's okay. Like you could do stuff that makes you happy. And I think happiness, I love that because I think that's so important. And I think if you're happy, you're or you feel joy, you're almost like aligned with what you should be doing. Maybe not 24/7, but if ultimately what you're doing brings you joy and creates that happiness for you, I think that's like an important North Star for sure to kind of guide you on your journey. So yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
Mm,
That
yeah, it's hard to find true happiness. I think
yeah,
people would say they're happy, but I don't think they really are. I think happiness is very hard to find.
yeah,
True happiness.
yeah, yeah. It's like a it's less of a gratifying, or I guess maybe immediately gratifying feeling, and more of a an outlook, or a way of being or something. I don't know. I understand what you're saying because I've thought about that a lot. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how do you take care of your mental health?
Yeah. Um, I have something on my phone every day and it reminds me like almost right when I wake up that just says make healthy choices. And
I like that.
I've had that for like uh at least like 3 or 4 years. And it's just a reminder to like make healthy choices, whatever that looks like, you know. And a healthy choice today might be a bad choice tomorrow, and a bad choice today might be a healthy choice tomorrow, but whatever it looks like for me. So it could be, hey, like get up an extra 20 minutes today and just go to the park and walk around. There's like a park in like walking distance from my house that I could go to and just walk around. And maybe that is, um, you know, my healthy choice. Or maybe it's a don't go outside today. If I'm able to chill at home, play video games, and turn your phone on, do not disturb. Healthy
Mm.
choice. Or it could be, hey, make sure you have a healthy meal, make sure you feel good. Or it could be like, hey, treat yourself to something that's kind of like sloppy or whatever, but I know, you enjoy it, something that's like not the best for you. So yeah, that's just something that every day that I think keeps me in line. I think too, just also staying connected spiritually for me is something that's super important. Um, just making sure I'm understanding uh, my energy and what's going around um me and what's happening in me and making sure I'm kind of like understanding the greater plan of everything. Um and two, in a funny way, I know like I was talking about this earlier, but just making sure I'm creating still, and just making sure I'm expressing and getting my feelings out. I know for me, when I go through times where I don't prioritize writing or music or really it doesn't even have to be just anything creative. If I don't prioritize it, and I kind of really throw it to the back burner for whatever reason. It could be life, it could be scheduling, it could be whatever. But there's been a few times in my life where I've had to just like take a second and maybe for like a couple of weeks just kind of put it to the back burner to get something done, which is always hard. But whenever that happens, I almost feel just like congested with emotions. Like I can't. It's harder to feel to understand where I'm at because I haven't had a chance to kind of go through and pull everything that's been inside me out and kind of put it into something. Like I feel like when I'm making songs, I'm like taking my emotions and like putting them into something and not getting rid of them, just putting them in like a glass jar and I could like look at them and understand what's happening. And I'm like, okay, cool. I still feel this, but I understand what it is and I understand what it is. So I feel like for me, when I don't do that any type of consistently, or if it's just been a while since I have, it's just hard. I just feel weird, overwhelming, almost like lost a little bit. Like I'm swimming and I can't find like my direction, and I don't know if I'm upside down or right side up or what's happening. So I know for me, like just prioritizing the art, still just doing it for fun.
Mm,
If I'm not trying to make an album or trying to make a song or trying to have a meeting or try to get more what it plays or more meetings or whatever. Just like, I'm just gonna take a second to write something funny today, or I'm gonna, write something super personal that I'm never gonna put out, or I'm going to, um, try to do a song in this style just to have fun because that this is fun for me. At the end of the day, this makes me happy. This brings me
mm.
happiness, and because it does, I should be doing it. So yeah, those are some few things.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, could you tell me about your new album, You Should
Yeah,
Care?
yeah, I'll do a quick I guess like kind of breakdown of it. But yeah, it's called You Should Care. It's coming out hopefully sometime this year, I believe. We'll see. But yeah, it's You Should Care. The phrase is a question. I think it asks people that listen and listeners and fans of music, you know, you should care about the art. You should care about uh what I'm doing and what I have coming out and in my artistry. But I think it's also a greater conversation to you should care about everything the artists go through to create, and the mental hurdles that we struggle with and how much we are vulnerable to put ourselves out there. And I think that's something that often gets overlooked. I think it's easy to have an album drop on your phone without you doing anything. You listen to it once and then tear it apart. Um, and I know that's just the nature of the age that we live in right now, with social media and with just how we interact with each other. But I think it's important to just put a little bit more thought behind listening to music and how we're taking in art in general. That I think it's also, not I think that you should care phrases also, um, for me about the art is I need to make sure I'm caring about what I'm saying and caring about my why, and how I'm connected with people, and how honest I'm being and understanding that, what I'm doing, as much fun as it is important. There's artists that have like legitimately saved my life and that have helped me um contextualize my experience here, just being a human. Um, and I think it's important for me to just make sure that what I'm putting out and what I'm saying, it's honest for me. Does it need to look like anything in particular? It just has to be honest for me. So that's You Should Care. And then lastly, the album talks about it, goes through all of this. Lastly, um, You Should Care is also, me telling myself that like I need to care about my well being and myself, um, and understanding where um I need to be cared for, and understanding that yeah, I can try my hardest and I could do X, Y, and Z, but at the end of the day, like this is not everything. And even though I love music, that's not my whole life. That's honestly, as much as I love it, it's not even the most important part. I'm married, like that's family and connection, and that is more important. And I just understanding that, like, hey, I need to care about myself as I'm going through this. And even though I'm very ambitious and I have a lot of drive and I'm very honed in and focused, I can't lose myself and lose my well-being in the process. I can't turn my back on myself as well. So yeah, those are kind of the four meanings behind that phrase. And um I think the album's great. I think there's great songs, and I think
It is
anybody
great.
I appreciate it. I think anybody can get something out of that. I think all four of those things you can hear in the music. Um, and yeah, I think there's a level of honesty that I tried to put into that piece of piece of piece of art. And I'm just excited for it to come out and excited to talk about some stuff on it. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And what do you want people to feel when listening to it?
Um, just a sense of honesty. Just a sense of honesty. I think that's like the top thing for me. I think a lot of times when we talk about honesty, we think of it in a very like, oh, I'm exposing something that's like really hard and really dark, and I'm exposing something that like nobody really knows, and I'm trying to be honest, and I'm being very vulnerable. Like almost honesty is vulnerability, but we look at it almost like a thing that's like kind of meek. And I have that on the album too. There's a lot of stuff I'm talking about, a lot of some childhood things, and some things that I just deal with mentally without like talking about it or giving it away. Just like stuff that I go through mentally trying to do this, and family experiences. But also I think there's a level of honesty too that's like, yeah, I feel like I'm the best at this right now. And I think that's okay. I think it's okay to be honest in that way as much as we're honest in the other way. And that's what I try to uh put first and foremost on this project, is just if I'm waking up feeling amazing today and I'm like I can out rap anybody on earth, which is funny. But if that's how I feel today, I want that to come across in the music. And if I'm waking up questioning why I'm even doing this, and if I'm even good enough, and what is going to happen to me, um, I think that's just as honest and just as powerful too. Um, and if I'm somewhere in the middle and I don't know, I think it's okay to show that. I think not only in just this album, just in life right now, I just have to be honest. I can't not be honest. I cannot not be honest. I have to be myself. I have to just share things that that I'm going through in honesty, and it be like as transparent as possible. So while listening to the album, I hope just a sense of honesty is the thing that everybody feels. Above all, I think if just it's just all it's real. It's real. I didn't fabricate anything. I didn't try to paint a picture that's not true. It's all real. It's all honest. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that's where the best music is.
yeah. I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, honesty is everything.
it is. It is. If I don't have on,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like what am I? If I'm not honest, what am I even doing? If I'm not being genuine, to what's the point of like anything? You know?
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
Big question.
yeah.
What biggest life lessons have you learned so far?
Hmm. this is a funny generic one that I know a lot of people are gonna say, but I think this is something that I know, especially I'm 27, so being a little older but still very young, there's a lot that I'm still learning. And a lot that me and my wife are like just learning together as we're both growing up. But I think one of the biggest things, if not the biggest thing, is like nobody knows what they're doing. Like nobody here at all knows like nobody knows what's happening. Everybody is just here on earth trying to do their best and trying to figure it out as best as they can. And if nobody knows what they're doing, you just need to do what you feel like you should do at the end of the day. Like whatever your convictions and your guidance is, whatever you feel like you were placed here to do, however you think uh you should live your life. Um which isn't saying like, oh, don't care for people, don't think about whatever, but I just think nobody knows what's happening and just do your best. That's literally it. Do your best, whatever that looks like. At the end of the day, when I pass away, I want to just have a life that I'm proud I lived. And I want to have a life that I'm proud of, and I want to have a marriage and a relationship that I'm proud of, and I want to have good relationships with my family and my sisters and my mom and my dad that I'm proud of. I want to have good friendships that I'm proud of. I want to leave behind good art that I'm very proud of. I want to um be proud that I helped somebody out and that I was able to connect with people and able to talk to the homie at the grocery store and able to connect with people through music. So yeah, it's almost because nobody knows what they're doing and everybody's running around. It's a kind of an overwhelming thought because you're like, oh, well, there's no really right answer. But at the same time, because there's no right answer, there's like all right answers in a lot of ways. Um, if that makes sense. And that's a very blanketed statement. There's like little stuff you could, I guess, pick out in that. But yeah, I think just trying to do your best here. Nobody knows what's going on. It takes a lot of weight off your shoulders. Um, and kind of helps you think like, okay, cool. What do I want my life to look like? Like what type of life do I want to walk out? So yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
like the top thing for me.
But again, do what makes you happy.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. It all kind of just does come back to that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happiness. Last
Yeah.
question. What message would you give to anyone struggling with their mental health?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I would say one, I think everybody mental health wise, there's a lot of different struggles, right? There's like um, depression that I've gone through that isn't chemically challenged. I think there's other people and other people that are walking out depression that is a chemical thing. And I think it's like a wide range of reasons. But I know for me, one of the hardest things to do when I was going through depression was taking that step to um actually get help and taking that step to talk to somebody and reaching out and trying to at least uncover what's going on. And I think it's something that feels very overwhelming, especially
Mm.
when you're struggling mentally with a lot of things you think about. Um, it just everything just feels like a lot. Everything feels like a marathon to do. Um, so yeah, I would just say, just note that like there's good and bad days. Um, and again, it is hard too because we're also artists on top of that, and a lot of artists struggle with mental hurdles, but there are good days too. And I think allowing yourself to just focus on the good as much as you focus on the bad, I think helps. But I also think like um I have a line on the album that says asking for help feels like cutting me down. But without your help I couldn't talk to you now. So I know for me, especially culturally, it's hard to ask and to go to somebody and hey, like I really need to talk about this, and hey, I'm like really struggling, but there's so much power in just doing that. And I think um there's so much uh just faith in just knowing like, hey, like I'm really struggling right now. So anybody that's going through everything again is so different. So I think there's um different I guess advice I would have for different people. But for anybody struggling like me, where it's not a chemical thing, it's just it's very much a mental, emotional, you're in a bad spot. Um, if you can, just ask for help, and try to find the help. And then also to get somebody to help you if you have somebody, ask a friend or family. I know, I looked through therapists and counselors with my wife, and we found somebody that I trusted in. And yeah, I think that was just a super um hard thing to do, was just admitting like, hey, like I'm not in a great spot. And then after admitting that, actually trying to make steps to get in a better spot. And also understanding that like it's okay. That happens. A lot of people are struggling with stuff mentally. You're not broken. You're not defective. Um you're not cursed. I know I was feeling cursed for a while of like, why is this happening to me? Why? Um, and your mind will play tricks on you like that often. But I would just say just find somebody you could trust in, whether that's a counselor, whether that's a friend, and just try to take some steps just to get into a better spot. And it could be something as simple as going outside and sitting down and just getting some sun. I know for me that just helps. It's something that's so small, and I don't, again, this doesn't fix everything. It's not a blanket statement for everybody, but something like that can be good. And then also sitting down and having like an hour and a half conversation, like I did with my counselor, and crying and talking about some super dark and deep things that I've gone through, has helped as well. So I think, yeah, just finding somebody you trust and just trying to kind of start that process of just getting better. And start the process of like getting into a healthy space, and how to, as best as you can, just try to ride the ebbs and flows and the super highs and the super lows, and just kind of just try to find a middle ground in between that. And whatever mental, whether it's, like I said, make healthy choices every day, whether it's like I said before, going out and walking, just something to kind of give you a little boost, I know helps me stay even. And um yeah, I think, no, that was a longer answer. But I just, there's so many different types of there's so many different situations of mental struggle. So just kind of talking for myself and then also talking for others. But yeah, I would just say just start the process and try to talk to somebody. I know that helped me a lot. And it is really scary, but it's nice having somebody that's not connected to your life that you can kind of just say whatever to, and they're not judging you. And I think that has a really a powerful effect on your well-being.
Mm. And
Yeah.
how long did it take for you to ask for help?
Yeah. Honestly, I know I've been depressed for a long time. And that's usually and it's not laughing because it's funny. But that's usually something that happens a lot of times in creatives, and also just people that deal with depression. I just didn't really know something was off with me. Um, as far as like that. And yeah, so I mean, it, it's hard to say. I mean, I think being aware of it, maybe like a year or two, 2 years of kind of just
Mm.
being in a bad spot, and then understanding like, oh, I'm recognizing that I'm depressed. And I know for me, like as a dude, it's hard to just ask for help. That's like a hard thing. Like we're so like, and not all of us, I'm speaking for myself. I know I could be hard headed. It'd be like, I'm good. I don't really like need that. I'm cool. I could do it myself. I could do it myself. I'll just take it on myself. And I'm just very, could be very like, um, hold things like back, hold like negative stuff in me, which is why the music helps, because it helps to get it out. Um, but yeah, it took me like a couple years before I just was just honest with myself and just like, hey, I need help. Like I need to talk to somebody. Um, and yeah, it could be a very scary thing too because you don't know all the way what you're gonna uncover, and you're almost like trying to figure out what type of person you are. And I think that's a very intimidating thing is figuring out truly who am I and what have I been through. And I think that's just super scary. But yeah, it took me a couple years before um of this like period of depression before I asked for help. And it took me even longer to understand that like I'd struggle with that too. Yeah.
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 Healing is very painful and
Yeah.
scary.
It is. It is. And I think it's hard too to sometimes like admit that you've been through something. You know, it's hard to like just label it because when you label it, it almost makes it real.
Yeah.
Um, and I think a lot of times like we have, especially growing up and being younger, like we have a certain vision of this is this is how my childhood was and this is how my adulthood is and um as you get older, you just talk to more people, you live more life, you start to understand that certain things aren't right and like, hey, that's not okay. And also this wasn't okay. And then you start to think about well, how was I acting as a kid and how was I acting as a teenager, and then you start to draw lines and connect stuff and you're like, oh, I was actually like depressed, or oh, I actually was insecure because probably because of this. It's like if you're like, oh, I hate the color green or something, and then somebody's like, why do you hate green? And you're like, I don't know, I just do. And then later on, you realize that you were two, and I'm just giving an example. You were two, and like this dude was dressed up in some super scary like all green costume, and that's
Mm.
probably why you don't like green. It's like something as simple as that. So getting older and kind of seeing more of that, or like yeah, this is why I deal with disappointment because I've had a lot of disappointment with my dad, and that's why it's hard for me to put myself in positions of being disappointed because I used to do that a lot. It's hard for me to do it now as an adult, and not blaming anybody, but just understanding, okay, knowing that's what I went through as an adult. It's my like responsibility to heal from that. And it takes time, but at least try to start the process. Um, so yeah. Yeah. Uh
Yeah. I've,
very
I've been going through that lately, and
really
that's been very painful
yeah.
because I always knew I had anxiety,
That yes.
but
Yeah.
I wasn't very aware of this until recently. So it's been super scary to
Yeah.
face it.
Yeah.
So I'm working on it now, but there's so much to go through and heal
Yeah.
from. That's why
Yeah.
I feel super weird lately.
Yeah.
But I feel good, but also tired emotionally because
Yeah. Yeah.
when you heal, you see everything from the
Yeah.
past. Oh my God.
It's overwhelming in a lot of ways. And
It
it's
is.
it's like it could be equally reassuring and it could equally feel like the deepest side, but also it could be like an extremely like heartbreaking like
Yeah.
thing. Like yeah. What are some of the things that have like helped you like go through the healing process? I know I have some stuff, but yeah, I'm just curious.
I just had to think back and think about my childhood.
Hmm.
That was very hard and realize why I was anxious
Hmm.
and then figure out how to fix this.
Yeah.
And I still don't really know how to fix this because it's new to me.
Yeah.
So it's just really thinking about what happened in the past, mostly about emotional traumas,
Yeah.
and not repeat what my family did.
Yeah.
Because there's no going back for them, especially for my dad. He's very stressful and very anxious. He has a lot of anger. And I know some of my sisters are the same. I have three sisters,
Mm,
but I think I'm the only one who's healing and realizing everything from the past and trying to move on from that. I just don't want to repeat everything that happened to them because I
yeah,
don't want to be like that. I don't want to feel like that anymore. So I want to keep, you know, healing and learning. So yeah, I'm still in my healing process.
oh for sure. And the great thing about that is like you won't because you're aware of it. I like yeah, similarly like to what you're saying, like I think about, my experiences, like, my relationship with my dad and my family and everything and just all of what everybody went through. And a lot of times it is just like they're just not aware of something that just they were struggling with, and the fact that like you're aware of it now, and, I'm aware of it as well. Like we can not repeat it, but also like, try to heal from it. And I think what you said is important too. Like another heartbreaking part of healing and going through therapy is realizing like there's things you just can't go back. Like that is what happened. There is like a finality to just your experience that's like, yeah, that's how, my childhood was. And I'm not trying to act like or talk or, say that it was like, wasn't the worst thing. It wasn't even really like, oh my God, it's just but I went through some stuff. And being real with it, it also understanding that like, that's what happened. I see everything. This is super overwhelming. Now it's up to me to figure out what to do with this information. And that can be overwhelming too. Even though it's good because you've done
Yeah.
so much work, but it's also overwhelming. Like, man, like where do I go from here? Type of feeling that you kind of just have to slowly figure out. Um, yeah, yeah, that's real. That's super real. Yeah, that's super real, and it's hard to, especially being in a family like, and even if all three of your sisters or all three of you guys like went through the same thing. I have two younger sisters, so I'm same amount of kids. I feel you. But we all went through a similar thing, but just trying to understand like everybody had a different experience, even though we went through a very similar thing.
Mm,
Everybody had a slightly different experience, and that's like a hard thing too, because you could be at a certain point with a similar, similar experience, and then your sister or somebody else might be at a very different point, for better or for worse, or just for whatever it is. And that's a weird thing too. So yeah, I really relate to like everything you're saying for sure. So
mm.
it's you, yeah,
I also realized that I kind of have compassion for them now
yeah,
because
yeah,
I think they just didn't know how to deal with
yeah,
these emotions.
yeah,
And I mean, it's hard. It's
yeah,
so hard for me. So it's going to be very hard for them if they face their demons and emotions.
for sure, for sure, yeah. Like it's hard. It is hard because it's a whole nother generation. It's like there's just limited even me at 15 and the amount of knowledge that I had on mental health and mental well-being compared to like now like more than over 10 years later, that was just in the world is like there's so much more information and so much more TikToks and blogs and Wikipedia pages and Reddits of just like, oh, okay, I could kind of try, like, sort of understand what I'm going through and what might be happening. There's so many different ways to check that. It's so many, so much more like a well-known terminology, for certain things. And I think about. like my parents and just the generation before them. Or the sorry, just their generation, like, yeah, they didn't really have a lot, like they weren't concerned, at least here in the States, like, yeah, they were concerned with trying to uh describe or try to put towards, emotional things, or just trying to get out of like, whether it's like poverty or whether it's a recession or whether it's even here, just the after effects of segregation, for my family, that's a huge thing of just trying to like
Mm.
deal with that. Yeah, there's certain things that they almost didn't have like the luxury to be able to explore, and it is hard. That's a heartbreaking thing too, because I'm like, for instance, for me, my dad's a musician, and I know how hard it's been for me to uh do this at my level, and how many emotional and personal struggles I've had. And it just makes me think like, man, like my dad, I know, feels music in the same way, and he has that same passion. I wonder how hard it was for him like all those years ago, where it's like there's so much more accessibility now. Like I wonder like what toll that took on him emotionally and mentally, and how that changed him in his feelings towards like a lot of stuff. Um yeah, there's a lot of compassion and a lot of understanding in a weird way, which
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily like it doesn't condone anything, but it definitely puts a lot of stuff in a different light. That's like, hey, like, yeah, I understand it way more than I did before. I'm not like an angry teenager now. I'm an adult that can almost see the situation more like objectively. Um, yeah, yeah, I feel you.
Thank you so much for listening. Believe in yourself. That's what I learned from this conversation. I know it can be hard to believe in yourself, especially in this society. Honestly, I struggled so much with that. Growing up, some people made me feel like I wasn't good enough. They made me feel like I was stupid and useless. And it has become one of the biggest traumas of my life. When you don't believe in yourself, you move slowly in life and you stop yourself from doing so much. Trust me, I've been there. I stopped myself from doing a lot of things because of stress, fear, anxiety, and the fact that I didn't believe in myself. Mostly because people made me feel this way. But once you start to truly believe in yourself, beautiful things can happen and nothing can stop you from doing what you truly want to do. I believe in you and I believe in myself. I believe in us. We've got this. Take care of yourself and take care of your mind.